So this post is to accompany a, a social media post I did. And it's really because you do hear so much about the trend of spirituality. And some people will already get, oh, it's not a trend, it's my life. I know this, but it's becoming very trendy as far as the retreats, the books, it's a whole genre. It ended up producing a whole market of everything from tinctures to lotions to, you hear it in even insurance commercials. Even insurance commercials. Even, in just everyday garbage product marketing. Because some products are indeed genuinely just, the person who had the balls to market them and to make $1 million for themselves, that's genius. But some of the products are, and even they have nothing to do with spirituality, except for the fact that, yes, that person did have the courage to trademark and patent and follow their dream. For those that needed an explanation of that, of the garbage products. One man's garbage is another man's treasure. I got you. But you do know what I'm talking about. The trending world of spirituality and all the money that it is generating for many, many people that really could give two fucks. Let's put it bluntly. And even by some that are taking advantage of indigenous communities and, saying, yeah, buy our products. We give some to the Indians in this village. Yeah. You charge American prices, but you don't pay the laborers American wages. You give them $2-3 a day. That is not being a mindful, conscious company. I got news for you. That's not it. And a lot of things, even that one, has a lot to do with the fact that if you pick up a book, was my example, at age 8, let's say it's a book I've got one right here. Let me see. It's a book like Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Zarathustra. I've never been able to pronounce it. Not going to try to be fancy now. Translated and with the preface by Walter Kaufmann. It's a book by Friedrich Nietzsche. I always want to say it with that German Friedrich. If you pick that book up at age 8, which I actually did, couldn't pronounce his Zarathustra any better then. I was fascinated by certain things that it had, certain passages that my mind could somewhat understand. I wanted to know who this character was. O my soul, I taught you to persuade so well that you persuade the very ground like the sun, who persuades even the sea to his own height. O my soul, I gave you new names and colorful toys. I called you destiny and circumference of circumferences, an umbilical cord of time, an azure bell. Now, although I was gifted, what I loved the most was the rhyming, the way that if I said the words together out loud, they kind of rhymed. I also loved some of the new words, destiny. I knew what umbilical cord was. I knew the Lord. I had already been placed in Sunday school for 3 years by age 8, I think. I loved many, many things about it. Oh, my soul, I gave you back the freedom over the created and the uncreated. Who knows as you know, the voluptuous delight of what is yet to come. I understood bits and pieces of that literally. And I also added to it the metaphorical grandeur of a child's imagination. However, when I read it again at 25, it stung a little, stung like a bee sting. Certain lines had a little bit of a prick to them. Certain things I went back to and I understood with the same open-mindedness as a child. Other things I understood at just such a much deeper level. Then I went back and read the book at 35. And then other times later. Each time, more and more and more came out of that same book. At different stages, I was either in trauma, going through a trauma, or healing a trauma, and at other stages healed. It's a beautiful thing. At some stages, I was very preoccupied with some love interest that was not exactly right, but it was one that I would learn a lot from. We have several of those sometimes, which is good. Hey, as long as you keep learning, have 100. Joking. But what I'm getting at is that at different points in your life, you're at different stages in your life, and you are at a very different cognitive ability, soul ability, mind, body, soul ability. And that's all really the norm of what we've been taught to understand about this. You know, that's really what everyone can go, oh, yeah. However, how society defined destiny, how my parents defined destiny, how my culture defined destiny for me to learn the definition of at the age of 3, 4, 5, when my mind was being molded, had a lot to do with how I defined destiny for the rest of my life. Constantly. Sometimes adjustment, sometimes some word becomes huge in marketing and it almost gets redefined. If you go through dictionaries, if you go through the dictionaries of our time, the definition of integrity and of other words has changed. If you pick up a dictionary from 1920, then a dictionary from 1945, then a dictionary from 1965, then a dictionary from the year 2020, it constantly keeps changing. And that's all groovy. But when do you get to define it for yourself? And how can you? When do you get to actually experience that to give it your own definition? And the answer is when you are ready. Once you have deleted all those other things, And of course, it does take some courage to define things for yourself. Because you know what? You have to experience them for yourself. In order to define something for yourself, you must experience it for yourself. And I'm not going to be all hunky dory love meditation like on this one, because this is the reality. A lot of the spiritual marketing and sales and the whole wants to make it oh so easy. Just change your mind. Just change your perspective. And key thing, do you live in a loving universe or do you live in a scary universe that's out to get you? Just change your mind. Well, guess what? My mind has about 2 million definitions in there for sometimes same words, but by all these other people. But you know what? I got to know. I got to know for myself in order to be able to create the external world with my mind, with my tool. And that's very important, and that's very key. And in order to do that, you also have to revisit, go right back into the filthy pit that is whatever you have suppressed as far as trauma and as far as the journey of your personal life that no one else on the planet has had. You are in there like swimwear by yourself. You can be guided. Of course you can. So much can happen. You can have assistance, can have a support group, you can do therapies, you can do psychedelics, you can do it all. But for the main event, it's all you, baby. It's all your memories, how you remembered them, deciphering them between fact, memory, and fiction, or how others remembered it for you. A trauma does not have to be a same similar type of experience for everyone. One man may have a traumatic experience being trapped in a cave, and another man might have absolutely no problem with it and will find it an adventure in terms of trying to get out of it. Of course, within reasonable time. But that's a very clear-cut example. One person's garbage is another man's treasure. One person's trauma might not be anything really major for someone else. Also, the age in which the action happened is huge. And those are things that need to be considered, addressed, and faced when doing your decision, when making your decision, when lifting up that foot and starting your own personal journey towards self, towards growth, towards, you know what? I've been going around in circles. Obviously there's a lesson here. I'm not learning it. I keep hooking up with psycho bitches from hell, or I seem to attract all this, or no, it's just I just can't find the job, or I can't, blah 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 blah. When whatever woke you up to the fact that I got to make a change here, or I have to transcend, which is what I prefer saying, this phase, this step, this situation, condition. It's you have to be ready for that part of redefining things, and of actually, it's fun because the pain that some parents or that some families have caused people in the process can become something so huge that unites them even more by transcending that. and so many more benefits. But the point is, and what I wanted to state was that, it's really nice to regurgitate, to vomit out, to repeat all the lovely spiritual meme quotes. But it's one thing to read them and understand the words. It is a completely different one to really digest it, absorb it, take those words, that knowledge, and turn it into your own personal wisdom. And I was told by a very wonderful person who, calls himself a spiritual teacher, and he's taught spirituality, all this stuff. He said, laugh and play, laugh and play, laugh and play. And many have said, except for Osho, whom I love how he said this in a lecture. Yes, it is all about just change your perspective. Change your perspective, change your mind, change your life. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you're going to change your mind with the definitions of others, then mathematically, scientifically, there must be a punchline to that joke. If you change your perspective, but you're simply looking in another direction, but with the same foggy lenses, please do share how that works. And all that, all those things. And that's why when you go about redefining things, and when you go about really going through, I'm going to redefine these things. What does beauty mean to me? What does this mean to me? When you go about that, that's the kicker. And you also have to be ready to say, I don't know. I haven't experienced it yet for myself. I don't know. However, this is what I have read or heard about it, or what valid sources say it is. But I personally do not know. But I'm very excited to one day soon experience it and be able to redefine it for myself. Be able to define it for myself. So, most people don't even like saying, I don't know. Most people, will make something up or will quote something that they don't even have the slightest comprehension about before they say, I don't know. Why? Because of that outdated somebody else's software, or OS, operating system. So I highly, highly recommend that people just take a little second to ponder that. Because you could read 10,000 books, but if you are reading them based on the definitions of others, then you're not really going to get the treasure, the golden nugget, the key that was meant for you. And other people's keys might not open your doors. It's just something to think about, something to ponder, and something I hope everyone has the balls and vagina to do. Because you cannot just destroy the old. If you destroy the old and everything, but you're not also creating the new, or if you destroy the old, but you create the new based on the definitions of others and of the old operating system, then you're just going to, make a glitzier old system. Very important things to ponder. Thank you so much. Sometimes I have to be big mama, but I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of, I'm to the point where I'm not going to condone it. I'm not going to cheer. I'm not going to say, "Oh yeah, that's good for you. I'm so happy you read all those books." But you're still acting the same way. Or you're still now not frustrated or hurting because of this. Now you're frustrated or hurting because you've got to change so many things about yourself, but you're going to change all those things about yourself based on the definitions of everyone else. So good luck with that. You can't be soft when it comes to expressing some of these things because they're very real. And, you know, that's the mothering energy, nurturing, but also telling you what's up.